What's up, everyone? My name is Kamal, and today we're going to talk about first-gen Porsche Cayennes. Ours, in particular, is a 2006 Porsche Cayenne S Titanium Edition. So that means it has the naturally aspirated 4.5 liter V8. So I'll get right to the point of what we were having going on. My fiance daily drives the car. And I want to say for a period of 6 months, we had these two symptoms going on. The first one, I'd say about 3 or 4 times a week, randomly or intermittently. When starting it, particularly I guess cold starts, it would run a little bit rough. And when that did happen to me, sometimes I wouldn't even know it was running rough until I actually drove away. Then I'd be like, oh, something's a little off here. It's almost kind of like a faint misfire. And the thing about it is, if you stopped and turned the car off and turned it back on, it would normally just go away. The car would run smooth and normal again. The other issue is when the car is all warmed up, the oil temps at the normal range, coolant temps at the normal range, sometimes it would just randomly cut off if you're sitting in park. Or it even happened to me once at a stoplight, just cut right off. I was able to start it right back up, but that did happen occasionally as well. So the frustrating thing about all this is the instrument cluster had no warning lights or anything on it to give us some sort of indication or idea of, what the problem could be. So that's kind of why we ended up letting it go for 6 months to begin with, just because we weren't really sure what it was. But then finally one day the check engine light did come on. So when I got home, I immediately hooked my scan tool up to it. And let's see here. The code was P0335 crankshaft position sensor A circuit malfunction. So finally it gave us something to go on. Interestingly, I chose not to delete that check engine light, just leave it, and it actually went away 2 days later on its own. So I'll cut to the end of the story here. We replaced the crankshaft sensor, the crankshaft position sensor, and that was about 3 months ago, and since then the car hasn't ran rough once or cut off once, so that most likely is the issue. The reason I decided to make this video, because I didn't film a how-to or anything install video at the time, but I figured, if someone else has the same issue with no check engine light, but it's running rough occasionally and cutting off occasionally, then this is probably what it is. Obviously it could be other things, and that was the other thing I figured I'd mention is a good while ago we actually replaced the purge valve for the evap canister or emissions canister, and I remember that started going bad when my dad was still driving the Cayenne, and it kind of had the same thing where sometimes it would run rough. I think he was saying after filling the tank up, it would just run rough when you started it, but I think it was the same thing where you cut it off, turned it back on, and it'd be running smoothly again. The only difference with that is that we did have a check engine light and it didn't go away. So yeah, like I said, we've had 2 different Cayennes, so I've kind of know most of the issues, not all of them obviously, but that's why I think it probably is the crankshaft position sensor. So as far as replacing that, it's located underneath at the bottom of the engine. It's actually screws into the transmission right where the transmission and engine meet underneath. Unfortunately, the connector for it is up top at the back of the engine. And so the wiring runs along the engine up to the top through some little metal clips it holds in and some plastic ones as well. My forearms were too big to actually reach in there to do the little plastic clips, so Miranda is the one that did that part of it. I would recommend doing that if you're going to replace it, because it's right near the exhaust of the vehicle, so you don't want the wiring working its way over there somehow and melting on the exhaust, because then you'll have the same issue again, or maybe even worse, where it won't run at all if it's melted through completely or shorted the wires. So instead of what it was when we replaced it, which was just a sensor going bad. So the other thing worth mentioning is when we replaced the crankshaft position sensor, I also replaced both of the camshaft position sensors. We also did all 8 spark plugs and all 8 ignition coils because our Cayenne's almost at 200,000 miles, so it was getting close to needing that stuff anyways. So that's the only thing, is all that stuff could have contributed to helping it run as smoothly as it does now, but I am pretty confident saying since the code was for that crankshaft position sensor, pretty sure that's what was actually causing it to run rough and then cut off on us, because if we were having the misfire, I think it would have been a little bit rougher, and also would have had a check engine light for a misfire on a cylinder or something like that. So, well, I really hope this video finds somebody with this same issue and that this is a solution for you. If you want to take your car to get diag, to be sure, they might want to keep it to duplicate the issue. But also my scan tool is kind of basic, so they might have a better one that maybe it logs that code. I'm not really sure. But the thing is, the crankshaft position sensor, we just paid $60 for it on Rock Auto. I order most of my stuff on there because they have a good range of suppliers and parts and a bunch of different price points. So I usually find the middle range thing, because $60 isn't that bad. You'll definitely pay more for that in diag. So yeah, I hope this helps someone out there. And if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, we appreciate it. I have a playlist of a bunch of repairs and how-tos and different things for the Cayenne. So if you ever have an issue in the future, you might find your solution on our channel. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.